The following is a fan-based discussion. All properties discussed are property of Toei Inc., Bandai, Hasbro, and Subaru Productions. Hello everyone, welcome back to Tokucast. The second part of our half-decade in review of Super Sentai.
Yes. Now I'm decided what we're going to have to start off with for this one.
Well, I'm not, because I actually like this show.
I hate this show.
Now, pull up the list of what we're going to be going through. So for the second half of the decade...
We're going to talk about these, we're just going to talk about what we thought of each show really quickly, and then we're going to talk about just the second half of the decade, because it was a bit different from the first.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. So, we have Ninninger, Ryusoulger, Kyuranger, Lupette, and Ryusoulger.
Well, I like Ninninger.
I hated it. I hated that show so much.
And then I really didn't like Ryusoulger.
I really didn't like it as much on the second watch.
Kyuranger was a mixed bag.
It has its moments of being really good, but I like how big it went.
Mm-hmm.
It went huge. It went galaxy-wide.
Lupette is great.
It's amazing. The characters are so good.
And then Ryusoulger was really bad.
Jesus. That show just exists in its own self, and I'm sad that it exists in its own self. Ew. This era,
looking at it as a whole, it looks like Sentai, I've noticed, seems to go back and forth between trying something new and then going back to a comfort zone.
Well, sometimes, because it would end up doing it would go back and forth per year.
That's what I mean.
It didn't do that this time.
I feel like it did.
Because of Kyuranger and Lupette being back to back. Those shows are so drastically different.
That's true.
From anything that's come before it or has come after it since. So it's just those two shows specifically, compared to Ninninger and Ryusoulger, which felt really Sentai formula.
Very, very Sentai formula. Very much. Well, we tried ninja. We've done ninjas before. That was something a lot of people liked. Let's do that again. We've done animals before. Let's change it up a little bit this time. We'll see how that goes. And then we get to Kyuranger, and Kyuranger is this galaxy-spanning epic where the bad guy has essentially
taken over.
He's essentially already won. They are the Empire. They are the force in control. And then we have our ragtag resistance that's going around the galaxy,
liberating planets,
planets as they go. Very, very Star Wars-esque.
Yeah,
in some regards.
And then finding out with that story, I honestly really love that story.
Mm-hmm.
Just how they did that. It's just okay, so we're flipping it on its head where we're actually following the rebels this time around, like Star Wars, like you said. And then we have the whole thing where with the whole Phoenix and Cuervo, who turned out to be the bad guys throughout this whole thing. And so you're I honestly love the build up to that.
Yeah.
And I love how the story ended on that note. Or that he tried to do it again and it wouldn't work the second time around.
And it's also interesting the way we look at the two that came before it, where we have in the Ninja, it was a family competing to be the best at their craft, something that we've seen before in Sentai. We've had the family dynamic before.
Yeah. And
then we have Ryusoulger, where we have the outside Red Ranger.
Yeah.
Who gets drawn into this fantasy world. And then Kyuranger, he's already in the fantasy world, but he's more or less the focal point that we start our show with.
For better or for worse.
And then he gets drawn into this world of fantasy, but the scope is so much bigger.
Yeah.
And they are a family in a sense, the Kyurangers and the way that they operate their team dynamic.
Chosen family and such.
Mm-hmm.
It is, especially with how many Rangers there were in this show. We did have Kyuranger beforehand, but that was, it was really just the main six again. They had the extras that would come in and out. But these ones just there are 12 of them. Mm-hmm. And there are always going to be
the way they were able to take the established tropes
or
established dynamics that we've seen in Sentai so many times before, and then just what happens when we blow that up to a galactic scale.
Yeah. But there were some drawbacks with this as well. It's just you could tell that because of the fact they were jumping so far from standard Sentai formula to this, they didn't know how to deal with everybody. So a couple of the characters did get left behind, specifically Spada, Raptor, and Hammy until she got her movie after the show ended with one of the Space Squad ones. But I do think they did it well here. But you could definitely tell they were just, they were definitely trying out something new. With Lupette, it's a whole different story though. Versus
Lupette, Kaito Sentai, Lupin Ranger versus Keisatsu Sentai, Pato Ranger.
Hosted by Steve Harvey. Where he will talk the whole time and not let the music play. But yeah, Lupette is just like, alright, we went big, let's concentrate.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like
and I really appreciate that because one of the problems that I think that Toku as a whole faces is the way every season is about some sort of world-ending evil, and that's not the case with Lupette.
Well, it is, but there's such a backdrop.
I don't feel like it is. It's like, yeah, there is a an evil criminal organization comprised of monsters and kaiju and whatnot that want to more or less maintain some sort of grip and control over the world. But again, they're like an underground criminal organization.
Well, they're just in a whole other dimension.
That too.
For pretty much the entire show.
I mean, yeah, but true. They're still coming into this one and trying to
take over,
trying to subjugate it, or at least maintain some sort of, or use it as like a contest in this case.
Yeah. Whoever gets to, take over the human world or destroy it can be next. The Dawn.
But that's not the point of the show, essentially,
No.
is what it is. Because the show is not, it's like, yeah, that's happening, but that's not what the show's about.
Yeah. The villains are there as a backdrop.
Yes. Ninninger, Ryusoulger, Q Ranger, that's, like, there are bad guys, we have to fight them. And you get to Lupette, and it's, we are two teams, we're competing for similar goals against a common foe, but in the end, it's our differences that make us clash.
And then, like, that's the whole issue, that dichotomy between the two teams, and how they talk to each other, how they interact with each other, both in and out of suit, when they don't know who the thieves are. And then you throw a wrench in there by Lupette X, who's just like, I'm working for both sides.
I work both sides, and
Deal.
Very open about it.
I love how the trope gets broken.
Yeah.
It's just like, I could get this hidden, but it's like, nope, everybody gonna know.
Almost immediately, he is undercover working for both agents.
Yeah.
And they bring it up. Well, it's like, well, can't you just tell us who the Lupin Rangers are? It's like, nope, can't do that.
And it's just like, also, we just don't trust you.
Yep.
And they really don't for a good portion of the show, which is completely and utterly needed.
It's justified.
Yeah. It's just like, we understand why you did this. So it just makes sense. And I love how they handle the conflict between the two. Some people will say it's just like, the Lupins got so much in terms of the toys and stuff. But like you said, it's just, you get to compare this to a whole different thing. It's just like, you got the Lupins, who are the more Heisei toy focused ones. And you have the Pats, who are very show focused, where they're much more about technique. And they are definitely about technique. The Pats are defensively a lot stronger, and just, overall, they're better fighters. They don't end up needing a lot of the things that the Lupins end up getting.
Yeah, it shows aesthetically too. You look at the past couple we've talked about, Tokucast, Ninninger, Ryusoulger, Q Ranger. The suits are very flashy. Yeah, they're very showy. They're very presentational. They grab your attention when you see them. Whether or not you like them, that's all a matter of personal preference. And then you get to the Lupin Rangers. They have those capes, and it's the dark against the bold color, and they blend into the shadows, and they're very cool. And then you have the Pato Rangers, who are just so sleek and minimalist. Yeah. And it works very well.
I feel like, especially with Lupette, in comparison to a lot of other stuff that comes around it, this is the one that feels like it's something that we really haven't gotten in quite some time, where it's so character focused. And I appreciate a lot more when Sentai goes a bit more character focused, because you have, 5+ people. It's so easy to lose somebody, but I felt like in this show we got to know everybody. Yeah. Which really, really helped at least me watch this show, and I wish that Sentai would do more of this, because with the things that have come after, Cure Major does this a little bit, but I still don't think that it does it quite up to the par that Lupette does. We're just like, all right, I know who each one of these people are. They're all memorable. They're just really good characters. Yeah. And, the story itself ends up being the characters and their interaction with each other. I appreciate that, and I think that's what's made Lupette just one of my favorite Sentai seasons just as a whole. I love it.
And in a way, I feel like Lupette does Lupette succeeds where I feel Build failed, because in Build, fighting the monsters and against the evil, like nebulous whatever it is, at the start at least, is kind of in the backdrop and the character interactions that we're really focusing on.
Yeah.
And that's what Lupette does as well, but it's, it succeeds.
Yeah.
And, great show all around. And I think, looking to where we go next, it just seems like such a strange choice.
Yeah. The thing is,
because Ryusoulger, we get back to it's very because this is what I wanted to say. You talk about the characters in Lupette, and it's not just that the characters get focus episodes; it's that we see them, the way we see them interact, and it's those interactions in every, it's like subtle lines, little hints, body language, things like that. That's where a lot of the development is.
Yeah.
It's not like, here is, Lupette Red's episode, let's vomit all his backstory at you in one go, and then now you know everything you need to know about him. No, it's like the way he interacts with his team members, and the way he toys with the Pato Rangers, knowing who they are out of suit.
And especially how the way he ends up interacting with Keiichiro, and how he, sees a lot of the ways that he interacted with his brother. And Keiichiro, and just how badly he treated him. It's just like, I love that. Seeing character interaction and development through uses, like, we end up getting the backstory and everything as the show goes along, because it's just like, we just know they're going to save people.
Yeah.
We know who they are, but we don't know the extent of why they want to save them. They're, especially in Lupin Red, he's doing it so much out of guilt. Because he felt, especially like right beforehand, they had to fight, and you can see that he reconciles a lot of the things with his brother, with Keiichiro, and I appreciate the hell out of that. Kairi is just such a good character. Ryusoulger, though, is a backslide. It's
such a, I said it again, it's just such a bizarre choice where we go from something that is so character focused, and then there's nothing wrong inherently with them wanting to go back to, there are bad guys, let's go fight them. But it feels like such a backstep, because again, it's like we either don't get any characters, or like what we do get is so minimalist.
And
like we get like a focus episode or two focus episodes or however many it is.
Toei panicked. Because Lupette didn't sell as well as they wanted it to.
Which is a shame.
And Ryusoulger sold worse. And the Kira Major sold worse.
Oh, goodness.
And now Zenkaiger...
Has it picked up at all?
Zenkaiger is remaining steady. So I guess we're going to see how it goes. Like, Kira
Major...
Major...
what happens next time.
Yeah, Kira Major, I had to say, it's just like, there's just, the obvious big world.
There were circumstances beyond their control, force majeure, if you will.
That really didn't help, and I'm guessing it's still holding on to this year as well. But yeah, it's just this Ryusoulger, just a weird backslide where I didn't care about anybody. I care about Bomba's abs, and that's about it. He was a very handsome man.
Yeah. Most Sentai actors are.
Depends. Anyway. Yeah, this is just one of those ones.
The way Ryusoulger, it's okay. So we got two in a row, because, like you said, it's like Ninninger, Ryusoulger. We're doing ninjas again, but we're mixing it up a little. We got the family dynamic back, and we got siblings and cousins, as it were in this case, competing to be the best of their craft. They want to be the best ninja, and then we've got Ryusoulger. We've got animal people coming from another world into ours, and a gambling ring from space that's trying to play the most dangerous game. And then we have Q Ranger, galaxy spanning epic, Lupette, cops and robbers. And then, like you said, they panic, and it's like, dinosaurs, do that again. Just do it again.
Is a dinosaur. And this is a dinosaur too. If you watch Bill Nye, you get that.
Did anyone understand that? Please let us know.
But yeah, that was just one of those things. The backslide was just so obvious. It really hurt the show, because it was really hard to care about the story, because the story was so bare bones.
It is the most surface level that you can get when it comes to Toku storytelling. Of there are bad guys, let's team up and fight them in our giant robots and on foot.
And
when the situation calls for it.
Like a lot of people did, and we completely understand why. It's just this felt a lot, again, like Kyoryuger.
Mm-hmm.
Even down...
It was like Kyoryuger light.
Yeah.
Even
Even down
Kyoryuger.
to 2 of the villains surviving at the end of this.
Yeah.
So it was just boring. It was really boring to watch. It was really bland. And it's so sad that this is how we go into the 2020s.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think Kyoryuger was pretty okay. There are definitely issues once we end up getting to review it later on in the year. And it was really hard to keep up week to week. I didn't drop it, oddly enough, unlike Saber, which I dropped like a hot potato. But yeah, this one was just... I don't even know why I stuck around, to be quite honest. I watched it as it was airing.
We had to review it at some point, so...
Well, yeah, but it's just like, I watched it as it was airing.
Yeah.
I just didn't. Then I just completely stopped with Saber, so... I'll probably come back with Revice, though. So that'll be fun later, especially because we got to do the first impressions. Coming up near the end of next month. Yeah, overall, this...
How would you compare the second half to the first half?
I think the first half was honestly a little bit better. I liked... Gokaiger's obviously in there.
Yeah.
Ghost Sager was really good. Well, it has its moments, but Gokaiger's just up there. I like parts of Go Busters. Kyoryuger was I could take it or leave it. Really would rather leave it. But Tokucast is just such a high. There's just that story, that ending was just so good. But this second half is just like you had a Ninninger, Ryusoulger, and Ryusoulger, and that's 3 out of 5, which weren't that good to me. So
for me, it's like a period of ups and downs. Because I like Ninninger, Ryusoulger was a big step down, and then Kyoryuger goes up, and then Lupette just goes up even more, and then
you fall off a cliff.
And then you fall off a cliff. Overall, I think I would say I like this half more than the first one. Because looking at the first one, I love Gokaiger, and not really a big fan of the other ones too much. Ghost Sager's okay, but the other ones don't really care for. And this second half, I think, was a little stronger for me.
I honestly just think the first half was better. The only one I didn't like was Kyoryuger. Everything else, just like, you have something I like in there.
Sure.
Whether it be a villain, or Tokucast's case, the whole story and the villains. So, yeah. But yeah, that's our thoughts on
this. That's the full decade in review now.
Yes, the full decade in review. We're probably going to do another one once we end up getting to whatever the third one after Zenkaiju is. So I guess number 48. Ooh. Is it going to be number 48? Kyoryuger, Zenkaiju. What's it? 48?
50 years of Sentai before you know it.
I know, we're already at 50 years of Rider. Thanks.
Oh well.
55 years of Ultra. But we still not done a single Ultra.
How many years of Godzilla now?
A lot.
A lot.
But yeah, let us know what you think about the second half in the comments below. Don't forget to join us on all the things. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for watching.